Good night.
On World News Tonight this Monday, the Washington battle over $1 trillion in the budget surplus. The HMO battle, fighting over patients' rights. Trouble at the border, criminals are getting through the security net. Is there a computer failure or a human one? And we'll take a closer look at women's soccer now. What's the goal after the glory?
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. Nothing like some extra money coming in to bring on a good old political Donnybrook in Washington, which is where we begin tonight. The White House and Republicans in the Congress basically agreed that the budget surplus over the next 10 years will be about $1 trillion larger than expected. And they agreed to meet today to discuss what should be done with it, which is as far as agreement went. We start with Sam Donaldson, who's at the White House. Sam.
That's right, Peter. The bipartisan congressional leadership came down here to the White House late today to meet with the president in the opening clash over what to do with the budget surplus over and above Social Security that is projected over the next 10 years. The battle lines are clear. Spend most of it or give most of it back in the form of tax cuts.
Congressional Republicans want a huge tax cut on the order of about $800 billion over 10 years. House Republicans favor a 10% across-the-board cut in income tax rates. Senate Republicans are eyeing a much smaller rate reduction on the order of 1% for everyone, but both would give back most of the non-Social Security surplus.
We think a tax relief package is critical. We need to get it done.
If you leave a surplus on the table in this town, it gets spent. There are a lot of people who like to spend those dollars. If you spend those dollars and build the platform of government or the table of government spending, you'll never see a surplus again.
But Clinton administration officials maintain that large tax cuts leave almost nothing for other important priorities.
It's puzzling, disturbing, and disappointing that the Republicans now put forward a tax cut plan that leaves zero for Medicare over a 10-year period.
The administration plan for the $1 trillion surplus is to devote $374 billion to shoring up Medicare, increase defense and domestic spending by $378 billion, and cut taxes by $250 billion for middle and low-income Americans only.
The right tax cut protects our priorities and targets what are crucial issues for middle-income families.
Administration officials also argue against a big tax cut by saying the projections could turn out to be wrong and the surplus could disappear. Good point. But then there wouldn't be money for Medicare or the new spending that the administration wants either. Peter?
Thank you, Sam. The Senate began debating a number of proposals today that would define the rights that patients have when they deal with health maintenance organizations. Currently, patients are allowed to sue their HMOs for refusing treatment, but they're not allowed to collect punitive damages. The plan proposed by the Democrats would alter that. Here's ABC's Linda Douglas.
Treatment refused, a second opinion denied. The HMO horror stories are familiar. Today, Democrats tried to build support for their plan to expand patients' rights and give them the power to sue their HMOs. They highlighted the pain of people like Ray Cerniglia. His young son had cancer, but the HMO denied him treatment involving high-dose chemotherapy.
The HMO was the judge and the jury. Matthew passed away in February.
But Republicans countered with their own victims, small business owners who say the changes proposed by the Democrats would make health insurance so expensive they could not offer it to their workers. Lynn Scher Bowles runs a business with 8 employees.
My company will be one of the first to stop offering health benefits to our employees. Neither the company nor the employees would be able to afford the premium increases.
Republicans mocked the Democrats' plan as top-heavy with federal regulations and warned of the consequences of giving patients the right to sue their HMOs.
The Kennedy bill would cost families hundreds of dollars per year and uninsured or increase the number of uninsured in the millions.
Democrats insist the cost of their plan would amount to only about $2 per person per month. Democrats kept telling HMO horror stories, suggesting Republicans don't care. Republicans will try to pass some modest reforms, just enough to diffuse the issue in next year's campaigns. Linda Douglas, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
The country's largest civil rights group has filed suit today against a number of companies that manufacture, distribute, and import guns. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People is not seeking money. Instead, the NAACP wants gun makers to limit the number of firearms that one person may buy, and they also want better monitoring of where guns are sold. The NAACP has also launched a major attack today on the 4 major television networks. They complain that of the 26 new shows premiering this fall, none has a minority character in a leading role. Here's ABC's Terry Moran.
A whitewash is what the NAACP's president called the network's primetime programming this fall. And when you take a look at the new programs, you see White People in the City on ABC, White People with Money on CBS, White People Falling in Love on NBC, White People Hanging Out.
I was trying to be tasteless.
Black people, it seems, are invisible.
That kind of glaring omission is an outrage. It is a shameful display by network executives who are either clueless, careless, or both.
The NAACP's charges mark only the second time the nation's oldest civil rights group has taken on the networks. 48 years ago, the group attacked the Amos and Andy show for its stereotyped portrayal of black characters.
I'm going to give it to you right from the heart.
Black characters started to become familiar figures in primetime in the 1970s, and the 1980s were the high point, capped by the huge success of The Cosby Show. But now, with the emergence of cable TV and new broadcast networks which appeal to black viewers, audiences seem to be segregating themselves.
Television is very much like American society remains today, and that is, it's largely segregated. African Americans watch their programming, and the majority are white Americans watch their programming.
But many inside the TV industry say there may be another reason for the color line in prime time.
Generally speaking, the networks do not have enough diversity within their own staffs.
The major networks issued statements today defending their records, but pledging to do more. The NAACP says it may call for a boycott of network programming. Terry Moran, ABC News, New York.
In Washington today, the Justice Department has brought suit against Toyota. It says pollution detection systems on more than 2 million Toyotas and Lexus cars violate the U.S. clean air laws. Toyota says the systems do comply, and if there is no settlement, the company, Toyota that is, could face billions of dollars in penalties. On the money tonight, a milestone for the world's largest mutual fund, the Magellan Fund, is close to crossing the $100 billion mark in assets. The gap between rich and poor is growing. A new study by the United Nations finds that the 200 wealthiest people in the world now have more money than the 2 billion poorest people in the world. The French company that owns the Motel 6 chain is buying Red Roof Inns. Accor will pay $1.2 billion. Incidentally, motels are the latest in a long line of American industries to be adopted by a single immigrant group. According to the American Hotel and Motel Association, more than half the motels in the country are now owned by immigrants from India. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up more than 7 points to close at 11,200. On the NASDAQ market, stocks were down just a little more than 2.5 points. In a moment, we'll have the rest of the day's news, tracking illegal aliens when the computers are unable to talk to each other. And will the women get a league of their own? We'll ask.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Bayer.
Try new Genuine Bear Gel Caps, the only gel cap that can help save your life. New Bear Gel Caps, powerful pain relief, and so much more.
Great news for all you cats.
That's us, Chuck.
Really? The Whiskas you love in a can now comes in the new Flavor Lock pouch.
What a great day
to be of the feline persuasion. Now wake her up.
You betcha.
Like this, Marv.
Woo! I'm up.
And Whiskas has the Flavor Lock pouch to seal in all the slow-cooked goodness of Whiskas' home-style favorites.
Whiskas, what cats want.
To be the best takes strength, speed, endurance. Now the best way to cure athlete's foot has it all. New Lamisil AT. Strength. Full prescription strength to stop the itching and burning. Speed. These take 4 weeks of treatment to kill the fungus. Only Lamisil AT cures athlete's foot with just 1 week's use. Endurance. A study showed most users were still athlete's foot free 3 whole months later. Get it all in new Lamisil AT. The best way to cure athlete's foot.
Now, from Seabond Denture Adhesive comes a fresh new hope. New Seabond Natural Fresh. Natural mint freshness and a soft, thin seal that bonds dentures to gums. Original and new Seabond Natural Fresh.
When I take a liquid antacid, I feel like, ugh.
Well, now there's new fast-acting Mylanta Supreme.
What makes it supreme? Wow.
Oh, that's good. I'm not kidding.
Very light. Yeah, it tastes like a dessert.
Mylanta Supreme. Taste it for yourself.
Off the Florida coast today, there was another brief standoff between the Coast Guard and a boatload of Cubans trying to reach the U.S. The Cubans' motor failed, and after some negotiating, all 16 willingly got on board a Coast Guard cutter. The nation's law enforcement agencies are a step more modern today because of an upgrade in the FBI's computer system. As of now, police officers will be able to pull up electronic mugshots on the laptops in their cars. The Immigration and Naturalization Service would also like to be connected. Had they been so only recently, the so-called railroad serial killer might be in custody. Here's ABC's John Martin.
This man is an illegal alien arrested by the Border Patrol in Texas. Agents identified him by using a computer database called IDENT. By taking his picture and 2 of his fingerprints, the Immigration and Naturalization Service can tell within 20 seconds if he's been arrested before. Using a computer program called Lookout, they can tell if he's wanted for a crime. The system is in place, but in the case of Rafael Resendez Ramirez, the system broke down. After a doctor was murdered in a Houston suburb in December 1998, the police told INS that Resendez Ramirez was wanted in connection with it. But when he was picked up here near El Paso on June 1st...
But Resendez Ramirez's name was not in Lookout then.
Because you didn't have the data on him.
Because we didn't put him in the system.
It's either human error or human carelessness. In either case, that's not acceptable.
Right now, we have a broken system. They either need to completely start over and come up with a new system, or figure out a way to keep their promise to Congress from 2 years ago.
What Congress was told was coming was a system by which the INS computer databases could talk to other law enforcement databases. This is critical with 400,000 illegal aliens holding criminal records. But this computer link-up has not happened.
Francisco.
In fact, the INS admits that its new high-tech system will not connect with the FBI's new database when it comes online later this month. The reason is that the FBI files, which contain 10 fingerprints on each person, would overwhelm the INS system.
Certainly we would like to tie all this together, but we don't know how we can yet.
In the field, INS tracks 1.5 million illegal aliens a year, but the agency is haunted by the human error that allowed this man to slip through its hands. And so is Congress, which had come to expect so much more. John Martin, ABC News, Washington.
In London today, 2 Egyptian men accused of conspiracy to murder in last summer's U.S. embassy bombings in Africa were taken to court under very heavy security. The 2 were arrested in London yesterday. Prosecutors say the men's fingerprints link them to the bombings. There is another power struggle underway in Iran. Once again, the country appears to be dangerously polarized between those supporting the elected president, who is more open to change, and the forces of the supreme religious leader, who has the support of the harder-line conservatives. ABC's Richard Gisbert has been monitoring this latest outburst.
These are the biggest political protests in Iran since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. Today, students battled riot police, who answered with tear gas and fired shots into the air. It all took place next to one of the old billboards from '79, when the cry was "Death to America." But the crowd was protesting against hardliners in its own government, saying "Death to dictators." The students took to the streets when a moderate newspaper was shut down. It began as a small protest for freedom of the press, But when police and witnesses say plain-clothed vigilantes attack the students, it mushroomed.
The great majority of the Iranian population, not just students, want change and reforms. So there's a little question that the students enjoy widespread support.
Many Iranians have had enough of life under the strict rule of the country's spiritual leaders. They elected a moderate president, Mohammad Khatami, 2 years ago. But the real power in Iran is still with the hardline Islamic leadership, which is resisting change. That is what the students and now many other people here say they are fighting against. Richard Gisbert, ABC News, London.
One last item overseas. In western Serbia tonight, it was Valjevo's turn, another of those spontaneous anti-government demonstrations in a town run by President Milosevic's own political party. Several thousand people stormed the town hall. It got violent for a while, and then police gave in and let people inside. When we come back, the U.S. women's soccer team on top of the world, but will it sell? We'll take a closer look.
Foundation that looks great and feels soft when you put it on is no surprise. But what if I told you I put my foundation on this morning? Introducing All-Day Moisture Foundation from Oil of Olay. Tests prove its combination of base, long-lasting color, and moisturizers reveal that it continuously moisturizes, helping your skin look natural and feel soft all day. New All-Day Moisture Foundation from Oil of Olay. From a line of cosmetics so caring, it's earned the Good Housekeeping seal.
You know my friend Mr. Moretti, he worries about the arthritis in my hands. So he came with me to the doctor. Now I am on a wonderful treatment.
Tylenol Arthritis Extended Relief. Take comfort in our strength.
Summer. Time to get busy with Red Lobster's 30 shrimp dinner for $9.99. 2 choices, 30 shrimp, $9.99. Escape to Red Lobster.
Oh, I should have used Preparation H. Cool it fast. Introducing Preparation H Cooling Gel. Cools on contact for fast relief. New Preparation H Cooling Gel cools on contact.
If you wear dentures, imagine how nervous teaching teenagers could make you feel. What if your dentures slipped? But thanks to the all-day hold of Super Polygrip, those days are over. I think that says a lot about the power of Polygrip.
Nobody does it like you.
He lives on the carpet. You want it to be clean. Hoover Wind Tunnel reaches deep down to pick up more dirt than any other clean air upright or canister. Hoover. Deep down, you want Hoover.
Discover the great-tasting fiber therapy that won't produce excess gas. Discover Citracel. People prefer the taste of Citracel over Metamucil 2-to-1. Taste tests prove it. Citracel. No excess gas and better taste, too.
We're going to take a closer look tonight at the future of the U.S. women's soccer team, still basking in the glory of their marathon victory over China on the weekend, though there's got to be a better way than penalty shots. There was tremendous interest in the game on Saturday. About 40 million people watched the final, which dwarfs the average audience for the National Hockey League Stanley Cup Championship, and for that matter was larger than that for the finals of the National Basketball Association. So what now? Here's ABC's Betsy Stark.
When the feel-good, patriotic moment passes, the future of women's soccer hangs on this blunt reality of American sport.
At the end of the day, soccer in this country will fail if the corporations cannot use it as a vehicle to sell more merchandise.
You cannot buy the kind of publicity the team is getting right now. Talk shows, magazine covers, gushing crowds. But despite all the hoopla, corporate America is not yet sold. Wheaties said today it has no plans to feature the team on its cereal boxes. 11 big-name companies sponsored Women's World Cup, but they limited their investment to signs around the arenas. No big long-term ad campaigns are now in the works. Mia Hamm leads her teammates in personal endorsements with more than $1 million in deals.
Had enough?
Let's go.
But do not be fooled by this ad. She's still no match for women pros such as tennis star Monica Seles or Olympic skater Kristi Yamaguchi. Sports marketers say ultimately for women's soccer to succeed, there needs to be a professional league. A league gives viewers and fans a regular opportunity to enjoy the game, and companies a regular opportunity to reach them. But even that's no guarantee. After 3 years, men's Major League Soccer is still playing to tiny television audiences, and stadium attendance has actually slipped. Sports writer Frank DeFord thinks women's soccer could be different.
The irony is that whereas men's soccer can't possibly make it because the competition is too thick from all the monster sports, baseball, basketball, and football, women's soccer can make it.
The question is, would city-to-city competition, instead of U.S. versus the world, sell seats and attract viewers night after night? This victory is a tough act to follow. Betsy Stark, ABC News, New York.
Well, there is one person who probably knows better than anyone what these young women face in the future. And a little while ago, we talked to Marla Messing, who is the president of the Women's World Cup Organizing Committee. Marla, it has been quite an experience, but what next?
Well, I think what we've done with the 1999 Women's World Cup is we have established perhaps the only standalone world-class, world-caliber sporting event for women around the world. And so at least twice every 4 years, when the Women's World Cup comes around and when the Olympics comes around, there's going to be a lot of interest in women's soccer.
A league of their own?
A league of their own would be great. The thing about the United States is if we established a women's professional soccer league, it would immediately become the best league in the world. Contrary to the men's side where even though we have a professional league in this country, there are so many long-established leagues around the world that attract the best players in the world.
The audience has just heard it said that if there is no sponsorship, these women don't have a chance of growing into anything really bigger. Is that a fair comment?
I think that is fair. In this day and age, you need sponsorship, you need television exposure, and of course you need spectators in stadiums.
Have you told all the women on the world champion team they shouldn't hold their breath about making enormous sums of money or having a league?
No, I haven't told them not to hold their breath. I think there is some hope for a women's professional league. I think 2 years out is probably realistic. And I think there is some, there will be some money for these players. I think they'll be able to make a living as soccer players.
Thanks very much. In a moment, how things change. The father once promised to bury America. Today, his son became an American.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila. You know, your home is your sanctuary, the one place you and your children should feel safe. But there can be dangers, too, and some of them are not so obvious. Improperly wired outlets that can electrocute, water coolers that can burn, household cleaners that can kill, lead paint that can poison. To find out about them, call HUD.
For a free brochure on HUD's healthy homes and FHA loans, just call. HUD and FHA are on your side.
Opening arguments start at 9:30 whether this arthritis pain goes away or not. So I took Advil Liquid Gels. Nothing's been proven stronger on arthritis pain. They're the only pain reliever with liquid inside. Advil Liquid Gels, stronger than pain.
Hi, I have a question about buying stock. What's the difference between a market order and a limit order? Hello? Excuse me.
When you have an investment question, does your online brokerage have anybody there to answer it? We do.
It's not funny anymore.
When dentures dream, they see the perfect denture cleanser. One with the stain-fighting power of Efferdent and the freshening power of Listerine. Well, little friend, dream no more. It's really here. It's called Efferdent Plus. And it's the only denture cleanser that could make your dream come true. Efferdent Clean and Listerine Fresh. That's Efferdent Plus.
Raisin Bran, huh?
Yeah. Hey, what's going on?
That Raisin Bran has less than half your folic acid for the day. Even less of your zinc.
That's a weenie breakfast, Frank.
There's almost no vitamin E at all. Looks like you need total Raisin Bran. Just one bowl gives you 100% of 10 important vitamins and minerals you need for the day. No other Raisin Bran comes close.
Attaboy, Frank. And there's room for my spoon.
Total Raisin Bran, Total Cornflakes. What are you getting for breakfast?
When Americans take to the road, they generally take stuff.
We have the stroller, which has to be in the car at all times.
Transports my bike and anybody else that wants to go.
That's why Americans are switching to Chevy Malibu.
Powerful, roomy, comfortable.
Malibu offers a V6 and still costs over $3,000 less than Camry and Accord.
We're very happy we bought the Malibu.
The car you knew America could build. Malibu.
You can drive away in a new Malibu with your choice of low financing or $1,500 cash back. See your Chevrolet dealer today.
When arthritis pain hurts, you want relief fast. But some pills can cause stomach irritation. Rubs can have odor. Aspercream's different. Rubbing an Aspercream relieves minor arthritis pain. No stomach irritation, no odor. Aspercream. Pain relief without aspirin.
Tonight on 2020, it's amazing. A 31-year-old felon posing as a high school student.
I wanted to go back to the point in my life where I was not a criminal.
He almost got away with it. Why did you feel it was necessary to turn your own son in?
Who else would?
On 2020, tonight at 8, 7 Central.
Just a brief review of our top story. The President and congressional Republicans meeting tonight at the White House to argue really, about what to do with the budget surplus. Republicans are looking for tax cuts. The White House says that tax cuts that are too large could jeopardize Medicare. Finally from us, a small but fascinating postscript to the Cold War.
And that's for you, sir. Thank you.
Today, at a citizenship ceremony in Providence, Rhode Island, Sergei Khrushchev and his wife became citizens of the United States. There was a time when millions of us would have thought it impossible. If you're under 40, someone will have to tell you what it was like in the world when Sergei's father, Nikita Khrushchev, was the Soviet dictator. He was flamboyant and provocative and frightening. He was responsible for the Cuban Missile Crisis, when the U.S. and the Soviet Union came to the brink of nuclear war. He was so outrageous at the United Nations that in a time of maximum danger, the world worried about his stability. His son Sergei was a computer scientist and a rocket specialist. Soviet rockets frightened Americans too. And then, as the Soviet Union collapsed, his father had already died. Sergei and his wife came here to work on his father's memoirs at first, and now to teach at Brown University.
We have to be citizen, because if you are living in the country, you have to be the citizen.
What would his father think today?
It's impossible to move the political figure from one period to the another.
Will all new citizens please rise and raise your right hands?
Sergei Khrushchev says he'll have to think hard about voting in American elections. He voted, he says, only once in Russia for Boris Yeltsin. Mr. Khrushchev says he doesn't want to make the same mistake twice. How the world turns. That is our report on World News Tonight. Don't forget 2020, and then on Nightline they're going to have more on the budget surplus. Some question that it might be smaller than we thought. I'm Peter Jennings. We hope you have a good evening, and that we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Tomorrow, renting babies to cross the border. Illegal immigrants busted. A scheme unravels. Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News.